him up until Sunday to prove he's good to go if he can. But the focus will be on the other tight ends on the roster, including Luke Musgrave. Got just 10 catches over the last 2 seasons, but the Florida knows talent's not the problem.
We all know the type of player that he is capable of being. I think it's just, as we talked about so many times in here, it's just the availability has been in the past, kind of like the rail to progress. That I do think, very tough and go contract, that'll be more honest for you. Because he's a guy that we obviously think very, very highly of, are confident that he can go out there and take it out there.
Again, with the Packers and Browns on Sunday afternoon, they looking to stay unbeaten, while Cleveland looking for its first win. The slate is June. Turn to the Badgers. They will get their Big Ten season going tomorrow with Maryland coming to Camp Randall. Wisconsin has beaten the Terps in all 4 meetings since they came to the conference in 2014. Badgers favored by 9.5. Kick is at 11. The Brewers are in St. Louis, where they're going to open up a series against the Cardinals tonight. Milwaukee's Magic Number to reach the NL Central, standing 4. Magic Number to clinch the top record in the National League 6. First pitch is at 7:15. With this Wisconsin Sports Zone Network update, Zach Heil.
Welcome in. It's the Wisco Sports Show. I didn't want to make an intro tonight. It's Friday. Maybe that makes me lazy. Fewer things to go wrong. That's what I think. We're broadcasting remote here at Crosse Bierhaus, corner of 3rd and Pearl in downtown La Crosse. Very fitting for the name, right? And I don't want to make a special intro. More things that I can mess up, especially now. I've been perusing the menu over the last couple of minutes. Going to put an order of food in, some pig wings. They do have the best brats in town. And I always tell you about that. They source meat from right down the road. Bubba's Meats on the south side, they are outstanding, and it's feeling like best in here. So we're getting a little bit of a warm-up, a little bit of a primer for Oktoberfest next weekend, and we'll be broadcasting. Ebo will be here. Bill will be here as well. But I selfishly wanted to come a week early and just warm up the place a little bit. And Mike Clemens yesterday, so he was on with Bill, and I'm talking to him, and he says, all right, well, I wish I could come to Oktoberfest this weekend, but I gotta go to Cleveland. I gotta go cover the Packers. I said, Mike, no, you can come to Fest. Oktoberfest isn't until next weekend. He goes, well, then why are you going? Wait, what's this weekend? And I'm like, Oktoberfest Eve, kind of the week before Oktoberfest. The man does not go broadcast at a bar in La Crosse and enjoy himself for a couple of days. So that's where we are for our WKTY listeners. Swing on down. Be here 4 to 6. Get some food. Get a big mug of beer. Start to condition yourself maybe a little bit for Oktoberfest next weekend. Think of it as training camp. Ryan Wood is still going to join us, but I recorded with him earlier. Again, anytime we're on remote, how can we make it so things can't break or things can't go wrong? So Ryan Wood, you're going to hear that interview at 4:30, and depending on how the show goes, I might play that at the very end of the show too, because it's really, really good. Ryan, I talked with him again this morning, gave us the latest on Tucker Kraft, what the rest of that tight end room looks like. We talked about, potential injuries. I hate putting this out in the universe, but I kind of had to ask Ryan, like, all right, look, to best understand the team and to best fully understand the state of the Packers, let's talk who are the most valuable players and who can they least afford to lose, right? And we talked about David McKinney and Tucker Kraft. I think after Jordan Love and Micah Parsons, those two were kind of the main chess piece on their respective sides of the ball. After those guys, who can they least afford to lose? And whether it's Xavier McKinney or Tucker Kraft, Tucker Kraft's right there at the top. And I'll give you Matt LaFleur's latest comment from the presser earlier today, the latest information that we have on Tucker Kraft. He's listed as questionable, so he still could play. Now, they have no reason to rule him out today. Basically, let the Browns know he's not going to play, so you can adjust your game plan accordingly. It's not surprising that they list him as questionable. Just list everyone as questionable. You can decide on game day whether or not they're going to play. Right, but I'll give you the latest comments from Matt LaFleur here in a minute. Ryan Wood coming up, thanks to La Crosse Bierhaus. How great is that? They bring him to us every Friday for the latest from up in Green Bay. And we're also a real treat here tonight. Well, treat is some kind of wording. We're going to be blessed with the presence of Brian Simpson. from Rock Morning. You might hear him on 95.7 The Rock here in La Crosse. His show with Gene up in Eau Claire as well. I join them on Tuesdays. And anytime in La Crosse, I text Brian, you want to get a beer? You want to do something? And if you just want to come to a segment, bring a headset. We can come down. And he's a New England sports fan. But conveniently enough, guess who his Patriots and Drake may play this weekend? Our old friend Aaron Rodgers and the Pittsburgh Steelers. So I thought we could chat a little bit about that. We can get his impressions on the Packers and other things as well. But also we can talk about getting ready for Oktoberfest. And he's going to be here at Bierhaus coming up in about an hour at 5 o'clock. So that's kind of the rundown of things. And again, if you come down here, I'm putting in an order for pig wings right now. They have the most authentic selection of German beers. It's a beautiful evening down here. Walk around downtown, pop in, get something to eat, get a big pretzel. I was tempted to order one of those, but I need to be able to sit up straight and speak clearly until 6 o'clock. And that pretzel is delicious, but I'll be sucking burps like that for the rest of the show. That's pretzel. They also, it caught my eye when I got here. They have on the TV screen in the back corner, they're playing First Things First, which is actually my favorite sports television show. I like Nick Wright, and they got a good panel of guests. I see Eric Mangini's on, and the show is normally Chris Broussard, Kevin Wild, and now Dan Parkins, formerly of 670, is on the extra hour of the show as well. And I was listening to a lot of sports content on the drive too today, so a 2-hour drive, and I listened to some segments from First Things First yesterday. And you know what's wild? You know what's crazy in sports? Sports fans, if you like national shows, if you like listening to Cowherd, watch First Things First, Get Up, whatever. You know what struck me, and you know what I find interesting? Nobody talks about the Cowboys anymore. Like, for years, but basically my entire life growing up, First Take would lead with the Cowboys. It felt like every day, Cowboys, Cowboys, Cowboys. And over the last calendar year, they haven't really been talked about a lot. Now, they were talked about recently because they traded away Micah Parsons, but gone are the days of the Cowboys leading shows. These days, especially on First Things First, it's, are you worried about the Chiefs? So I'm so sick of that segment. We've been doing that for 2 years. Are you worried about the Bears and Caleb Williams? A little juicier. Still, I feel like most people probably don't care about that. You know what? I'll say it. I'd kill for a shot behind the segment. I'd go for a Cowboys segment. Now, they play the Bears this weekend, interestingly enough. That's one of the games on Sunday, other than the Packer game, of course, that I have circled. Because if the Cowboys come into Soldier Field, Matt Eberflus' revenge game, right, against Caleb Williams, he was coaching in Chicago last year, was fired. And if you listen to Chicago people, there's a lot of animosity with Bears players. They blame him. They blame Matt Eberflus for a lot of the team's failures last year, which I think is a little fair. I think it's a little fair. Now watching the Bears this year, it's clear that it's a bigger picture, that it's a cultural thing. It's not just the coach that's forgetting the call, right? So I'm very interested in that game coming up this weekend. And they're talking now about the Bills on First Things First. I was struck driving in today and then watching the beginning of the show over my shoulder. No one talks about the Cowboys anymore. I feel like Brian Schottenheimer could be kind of a good story. Dak Prescott, right, a chance to really prove that he belongs. Probably not in the NFL top tier of quarterback, but right where Jordan Love, where we've kind of discussed that he belongs when we do our quarterback views, right in the front of the pack at tier 2. Now, Jordan Love and Dak Prescott are very different quarterbacks. I think Justin Herbert is in that neighborhood, as we discussed on Monday and Tuesday. I think Baker Mayfield is in that neighborhood, too. They're just, again, very, very different quarterbacks. So a little bit of an unnational sports take to begin the show tonight. But I'll give you Matt LaFleur's comments now as we focus in. The news of the day is Tucker Kraft and the update and the final injury report in which he was listed questionable. I wanted to cut the sound from Matt LaFleur, but again, I always get nervous playing audio when I'm on remote. You never know when things can go wrong. So what I did was, as I was getting ready for the show, I was sitting here drinking my Diet Coke, and I actually just wrote down the exchange. Matt LaFleur's press conference this afternoon was only like 4 or 5 minutes. I mean, it was in and out pretty darn quickly. So I just wrote down the exchange. I'll read it for you here. I'll do my best to play it. Give you a little show. So the press conference begins. Matt LaFleur cracks the mic and says, "Let me guess, who wants to ask it first?" And then I read Phil Cooper responds, and I read verbatim, "What happened to Tucker yesterday?" Matt LaFleur responds, "He was practicing and got hurt." Follow-up question, will he practice today? Matt LaFleur verbatim, "I don't believe so. It's unfortunate. It is what it is. I don't think it will be long-term, so that's a positive, but he will not be out there today." And then the follow-up question, will he play Sunday? Matt LaFleur says, "I couldn't tell you. As with all the guys, we'll give them up until game time. More than anything, he's got to feel confident and be cleared at the same time. Schneider followed up, is IR a possibility? Matt LaFleur says, I don't believe so. And that was the end of that opening stanza of questions at the press conference. They talked a little bit about Musgrave and John Fitzpatrick, the other tight end, who I want to talk about in segment number 2. I have a spicy Packers tight end thing. Yeah, we're going to talk more about their tight end room today. Then later on in the press conference, I don't know who it was, circled back and said, what happened? How did he get hurt? And Matt LaFleur said one of two things. He either said, well, he was practicing, which kind of goes across a little bit like a prick there, a little sarcastic. Well, he's practicing. Or he might have said, while he was practicing, which is a little less, calm down a little bit, Matt, but it's clear that they don't want to give any inclination. He was running in space and just felt his knee do a little something. He could have been throwing a block and a guy fell into him. Like there's plenty of ways you can hurt your knee in practice. The Packers are being very tight-lipped. So Bill Michaels, the winner here with his Red China nickname, Red China, Red China, Red China. They don't want to give anything up. The fact that Tucker Kraft hasn't been ruled out is promising. That makes me feel good. The Packers really have no reason to rule him out. Ruling him out today just signals to the Browns, you don't have to prepare for him, right? You don't have to get ready for Tucker Kraft at all, so you can focus your attention, you can focus your energy elsewhere, which the Packers obviously do not want to allow the Browns to do that. You want to force the Browns and every opposition, every opponent to prepare and be ready for everything. That makes them do more work, right? If Tucker Kraft's on the field, here's what we do. If not, here's what, right? I understand. It's a little different from what the Vikings did with J.J. McCarthy earlier. Can't remember who originally brought this up. It might have been, I did a podcast on Wednesday with Paul and Megan Bart Winkler. Bart might have brought this up first, but I think I also heard someone bring this up on television on Monday. I don't remember who it was. Saying about J.J. McCarthy and the Vikings. You didn't have to come out on Monday and say, he's out. We will be starting Carson Wentz for the foreseeable. You didn't have to do that, right? Because if they thought J.J. McCarthy was just dinged up, he kind of bounced his ankle around in that game, you could give him the week. You could do what every other team does. You can do what Matt LaFleur does. He will be limited, right? We will see. We will give him until game time, which also forces the opponent to prepare for multiple quarterbacks. I don't know how you prepare differently for J.J. McCarthy and Carson Wentz. I don't. That's when I don't envy a defensive coordinator. All right, we got to go over a mountain of film of J.J. McCarthy. We got to go over a mountain of film of Carson Wentz. So some poor assistant would have been stuck with that. But remember, the Vikings on Monday came out very clearly and said J.J. McCarthy injured his ankle. He will miss a certain amount of time, 2 to 4 or 2 to 5, and they ruled him out right away on Monday, which is a little bit unique and, again, out of character for how NFL teams typically handle it. And now we're seeing the other side, the inverse of that with the Packers. We're going to give Tucker Kraft all the way up to game time. We're going to make sure that he has every opportunity to play, blah, 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 right? That whole song stand. I can give you the rest of the Packers injury report as well. I don't think, and I'll pull up our friend Ryan Wood's Twitter and get you the very latest. They're also speaking in the locker room right now. I can give you some Micah Parsons quotes a little bit later on in the show, probably after we connect with Ryan Wood here at the bottom of the hour. Tucker Kraft and Zach Tom listed as questionable. And I have the full injury report now here in front of me. It's funny that Zane Anderson is he always has an injury designation. The only time I ever talk about or think about Zane Anderson is injuries. Right, it was a running joke a year or two ago. It's like, does this guy even play? And then he'd appear on special teams like, oh, there he is. He is a real guy. He's not just a character that appears on the injury report once a week. Aaron Banks is a full participant today after being limited throughout the week. And he said on Thursday, we talked to Clemens about it, whatever. Aaron Banks said, I'm playing. So we kind of knew that. Nate Hobbs went from limited to full. Josh Jacobs limited all week, but that's just kind of, he's dealing with this. He's a little, the veteran rest / just a lighter practice for a play like that. Tucker Kraft was limited Thursday, did not participate today. His game status is questionable. Jaden Reed is out, and then Zach Tom is questionable, like I said. So the only two game statuses that are up in the air are both Tucker Kraft and Zach Tom. Ryan Wood also tweeted yesterday that he talked to Zach Tom and kind of watched him maneuver around a little bit and said, I think he looks spry. I think maybe he looks a little bit better than he let on in his presser, because that, Zach Tom talked about, well, running's kind of painful, and he kind of pretty specifically outlined his shortcomings and weaknesses, which if I was an injured player, especially in a time, that's something you want to do. right? You don't want to give the opponent the book of, well, I can move side to side. It's running forward and backward. Like I don't know, kind of giving the defense keys to how to play against you. For that reason, because Zach Tom said that, I kind of feel like maybe he's going to play. I don't know. The offensive line is a fascinating position. It's like, well, you don't need to be able to sprint all the way down the field. You need to be able to get in the way. You need to be able to block. So I don't know that oblique and that hip. It started as a hip and then kind of became an oblique throughout the duration since last Thursday night's game, or I guess since the Lions game. It seems like forever back played. It's become an oblique, and then we learned in his media availability there's a slight tear. It's not a tear that requires surgery, but it is still torn. So it's weird for an organization that keeps everything so tight-lipped about injuries, including designations all the way up until Sunday. I don't expect Tucker Kraft to play, but they're still leaving that door open. I think a little gamesmanship. Zach Tom's been a little bit more forthcoming, and the Packers have been a little bit more forthcoming with Zach Tom, which interests me. It intrigues me as we try to figure out who's going to play and who isn't going to play. When we come back, I want to take a break. I will give you further thoughts on the Packers tight end room, as we've discussed a little bit throughout the week in uncertain terms or no uncertain terms. I am not the world's biggest, how do I say this, a believer in Luke Musgrave. And why would I be? Because he's mostly been, I don't even want to say bad. He's been hurt. He's missed most of the games last year, missed a lot of them his rookie year. It's understandable as rookie. Uh, I don't have faith that this guy is going to be able to tap in and play at a high level because we've never seen it, right? It's kind of similar to Garrett Mitchell. Yes, Garrett Mitchell has been hurt a lot, but even when he's played, he strikes out too much, and his weaknesses are very pronounced and obvious, right? So I don't have a lot of faith in Luke Musgrave, but maybe this week is the week. Who knows? I'll get you some comments from coordinators and different coaches who talked about him, including Matt LaFleur earlier today. But come on down. We're here until 6 at Crosse Bierhaus. We're getting ready for Oktoberfest next week. So have a couple of authentic German beers just to get kind of dialed in. You know what I mean? It's like getting in the layup line. Just get yourself in the zone a little bit. See the ball go to the hoop just a couple of times. You get some food, of course. I'm going to have some pig wings. I put an order in. Half-pound pork shank served with delicious German mustard, Dusseldorf mustard, I believe it is. They have the giant pretzel served on a pizza plate. I mean, the thing is, they serve it on a pizza plate. You get a little honey mustard, you get a little cheese with that. And starting next weekend, they'll have poker performances all throughout the weekend. So live music and sound like Oktoberfest is supposed to sound in here. Sign holding contests for those of you that want to show up to the biceps and the shoulder strength. And the Beer House Boys will start next Friday at 10 a.m. and that'll kind of begin the festivities that'll go throughout the weekend. So to our WK2I listeners, to our lacrosse listeners, we're down here on the corner of 3rd and Pearl. Pop in, say hello. I have a couple of interviews that are recorded that we're going to play, so I can I can meander around and work through. I won't be stuck here with the microphone the whole time. Ryan Wood coming up at the bottom of this hour. Brian Simpson, Rock Mornings. How lucky are we? Let's take a 3-minute break. Come back. I'll get to some of your comments. Text. We'll talk about the Packers tight end room.
This is the West Coast Sports Show with Brett Bills on the Wisconsin Sports Zone Radio Network.
The Zone Big Bash is back. Every Wisconsin home game 2 hours before kickoff at the Blue Moon Bar and Grill. This year, July has something special for you. It's a perfect snack for game day or any day. Wenzel's Farm Pro Snack Stick. Come see me, and I'll hand you 16 grams of protein to fuel you through the day. Wenzel's Farm offers that and so much more. Crafted in small batches with ingredient intensive meats, perfectly seasoned, and naturally hardwood smoked. Check out wenzelsfarm.com. Made by pros for pros.
Keep your head in the game. Ready? Online at MadCitySportsZone.com. Let's go.
When it's time to tackle the large project on your home, researching reputable roofing contractors is essential to making the right decision. Get close to Roof Reviews. When business roofing, you'll notice page after page of 5-star feedback. From spending time with you explaining what's best for your type of roof, to hidden issues that need attention, to being on time and offering a fair price, for the quote that counts, and reviews that say it all. Visit businessroofing.com.
They understand work-life balance. That's why this Friday, weekend by you can expect in the future
appreciation for good day's work too. That comes from your background and your fun values and your environment.
If you're an experienced person that takes pride in your work and wants to live a rising smile
Sure.
from your success, apply at MSCMarket.net.
Get lazy, go crazy. The Scotty Football Game Day Special is Lazy Go. Half-price wing baskets, beer bucket, $5 to $15 specials, and famous Lazy Oak Stone Heart Pizza. Free-roll Jello chops with every Scotty touchdown, and wall-to-wall TVs so you won't miss a single. Cheer on the red and white and enjoy your mouth-watering specials. You get lazy, go crazy with another Scotty football game at the Lazy Oak Lounge, Stone Road. Find out more on the Lazy Oak Lounge Facebook.
It's the story of the one. The book is so about during cold and flu season, germs spread. It's why he partners with range to really soft products from tissues to disinfectants to floor scrubs. Also, this can help students, staff, and teachers stay healthy and focused. Call 1-800-RANGER and click Ranger.com to stop by. Ranger, simple fun, get it done.
Hi, I'm Maria Solano. You know the jingle. Now discover the facts about Ozempic, a GLP-1. There's only one FDA-approved Ozempic made by Novo Nordisk. Learn about the real thing.
Talk to your healthcare professional today. Call 1-833-OZEMPIC or visit Ozempic.com to view the medication guidance and learn more about Ozempic. Semaglutide injection 0.5, 1, and 2 milligrams.
Wisco Sports Show, welcome back. Broadcasting live here in La Crosse, corner 3rd and Pearl, La Crosse Bierhaus. It's funny, I confused Mike Clemens last night. He joined my thing, talking off the air. Well, have fun at Oktoberfest this weekend. I got to go cover the Packers at the Browns, otherwise I'd join you guys. Mike, it's next weekend. Oktoberfest is next weekend. You can still join us. He's like, well, no, I gotta do the Browns game. No, Mike, Oktoberfest is next weekend. And he goes, oh, well, why are you going tomorrow then? Why? Mike, the better question is, why wouldn't I go tomorrow? A little bit of an Oktoberfest pregame. So you can get yourself kind of in the swing of things, get fired up, and get in, let's say, in playing shape. You're not playing your way into shape next Thursday and Friday. No one wants to be in that spot. So come down. They have the finest selection of authentic German beers. And we're going to be joined by Brian Simpson, Rock Mornings later, who I'm sure will tell us all about that authentic selection. I once lost a bet to Brian Simpson and owed him beer. And then when I asked him what kind of beer he wanted, a normal considerate, normal, that's unfair. Let me back that off. A considerate man would say, oh, a 6-pack of Coors Light would be fine, Grant. I don't want you to break your back getting me. No, I had to go to the far side of town to Woodman's because the only place you could get authentic German beer is at Woodman's. And I guarantee they have it here and you bring it out of a big mug. In fact, get a sign and practice your sign holding. We love sign holding contests here next weekend. Authentic polka, oompa music, which is how Oktoberfest sounds. If I don't hear that music playing somewhere near me, then it's not really Oktoberfest. Food selection is great also, so come down. You can get dinner after work, begin your weekend. Again, the corner of 3rd and Pearl will be down for broadcasting until 6 o'clock. Ryan Wood in the next segment. I did 17, 18 minutes with him earlier today. It's choice. It is the latest on Tucker Kraft and everything else going on in Green Bay. I don't think Tucker Kraft is going to play Sunday. And again, Matt LaFleur's comment that kind of most clues me in. Like, first of all, I'd bet against him playing. If they were worried that he had a significant knee injury and then were relieved, it's like, okay, good, it's fine. Knowing that they could probably beat the Browns without him, they should definitely be able to beat the Browns without him. The bye week is looming in another week after that. I also think they could beat the Cowboys without him. I just don't think they're going to rush him. I would have bet against it anyways yesterday. But this comment from Matt LaFleur, he was asked today, will he play Sunday? And he said, I couldn't tell you. As with all the guys, we'll give him up until game time. More than anything, he's got to feel confident and be cleared at the same time. That's the part that, oh, okay. So there's some medical hurdle. There's some, unless he's just completely talking out of his butt, which he might be to throw off the Browns. I prefer that he try to throw off the Browns and that doesn't also throw off local radio hosts. Whatever, that's fine. I would bet against him playing. If he needs to be cleared, if he's got to feel confident, the bye's coming up, he just heard it, they thought it might have been significant, they dodged the bullet. I would just bet against him playing. So the rest of that tight end room is Luke Musgrave and John Fitzpatrick. Packers fans, I would bet against John Fitzpatrick being a more productive player this weekend than Luke Musgrave. I don't like to be this guy. I don't like to be negative. I don't like to be the guy that sees everything. But sometimes I get confused because Packers fans, they have it out for Christian Watson. Oh, he's made of glass, shine it all. Bill always says, "Where's the cat?" Looks like Tarzan, plays like James, which is an excellent first grade. But people rip Christian Watson all the time. Oh, he's never available. He's never available. Well, he's been available more than Luke Musgrave has been. And unlike Luke Musgrave, when Christian Watson has played, he's been very, very good. Not every single game. But his rookie year, that run that he had when the Packers really started winning, set themselves up to make the playoffs before they fell on their face in Week 18 at Lambeau against the Lions. Christian Watson was a legit wide receiver number one and a game-changing player in the offense. He's not Jamar Chase, but he's been excellent when he's been healthy for any long stretch of time. He's been healthier more often than Luke Musgrave. Luke Musgrave in his rookie season played 11 games. Then last year he played 7 games. So out of the, what would that be? 17 games, first 2 years. I don't know what 17 plus 17 is, but he played 18. Between the first 2 years, he's basically played one full season. It's like coming playoff games. He missed all of them as well, or missed last year. I think he was available actually with the Cowboys and maybe the Niners rookie. Who cares? 11 games his rookie year, 7 games last year. But when he's been out there, he hasn't been productive. Now, if he can just be basically a wide receiver that's big with a tight end body, okay, then he can be a threat and a field stretching presence, if nothing else. But doesn't a player like John Fitzpatrick a lot better fit what Matt LaFleur is looking for? A Ben Sims type, if you will, who I think's on the Vikings now. Funny enough. But Ben Sims, John Fitzpatrick, what's the difference? The guy who's in block and also be convenient pass catcher when the play completely opens up to get that guy or on a shallow spot, or the tight end leaking out the back when the whole play seems to the right and someone sneaks out the back. Like John Fitzpatrick can do that thing. I would bet more, and I'm not picking up either in fantasy. Let's put it that way. I would bet more. I would bet more on John Fitzpatrick. I think in this offense, it's a lot about fit, and I think the players that succeed the most. The reason why the Packers love Christian Watson so much, he's speed to stretch the field, and he's, what was the term they call Al Lazard once upon a time? Didn't Matt LaFleur call him a war daddy? I don't like that phrase. There's some phrases that I hear in Packers press conference I just reject. I'm not calling special teams defense. I'm just refusing. I'm not going to do that. They can do that on their own time. I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to use the term war daddy. I don't like it. But Christian Watson, like Al Lazard before him, is that in the running game. You saw when things got kind of sticky or when things stalled out in the second half against the Commanders on Thursday Night Football, and it was all of a sudden a one-score game in the beginning of the fourth quarter. What did Matt LaFleur do? What did the Packers do? They ran up some plays. They ran some plays to Savion Williams and to Matt Golden, wide receivers in the running game. We're going to get him moving side to side. We're going to get him out on the boundary. Matt LaFleur's really good at that stuff. Really, really creative, disguise, multiple run looks, whether it's to Josh Jacobs or to wide receivers. A big key on why they're able to do that is because the tight ends block their ass off, which Musgrave does not, and the wide receivers block their ass off. Christian Watson, but especially Tucker Kraft getting out on the boundary. Dontavian Wicks, really the rookie year, has thrown blocks, and it hasn't really mattered that he can't catch because they've been able to make do with other guys. And Wicks has had some moments, but he's out there because he can block. So when you think about players that succeed in Matt LaFleur's offense, the players that make it go, very few of them are perfect. Dontavian Wicks, up until this moment in his career, has been an imperfect player. Same with Jaden Reed, same with Christian Watson. They can all block, and they can be pieces in the machine that keep the machine going. I don't know that that's true of Luke Musgrave. God, it'd be fun and it'd be really exciting to be wrong on Sunday. I hope I am. Because I would love to see him break out and that talent. Matt LaFleur said earlier today, talent's never been the issue. It's been staying healthy and executing on the field. He just doesn't really look like he Like he belongs, like he fits. Falls over really easily. I get flashbacks to Richard Rodgers. He's not always the most natural receiver of the football either. Very often you have to stop and slow down and come back to him. Part of that is, ball needs to be put on it. But on a lot of these comeback routes, it's not super efficient. It's not a big dangerous yards after the catch. So I'm almost interested to watch Luke Musgrave, John Fitzpatrick, their usage, how both of those guys are deployed, because I'm assuming Tucker Kraft is going to play. Another thing I'd love to be wrong about, but personally what I'd love is Tucker Kraft is able to rest this weekend against Dallas if that's what you need. And the Packers, blast both of those teams anyway. They'll be favored in both of those games, even on the road. And then that Micah Parsons run game in Dallas, I don't think that's jacked up easy. So when we come back, Ryan Wood is going to join us. I spoke with him earlier today. So we'll hear the latest on Tucker Kraft. Xavier McKinney, we talked about for a couple of minutes. And the general ethos of this team. We led the show the other day with that, right? How jacked up they are. Well, this is last night. Yeah, we led with it last night. How jacked up and how excited they are to play. And that's why I just can't envision them showing up flat this weekend in Cleveland, even though it's a lackluster opponent. And for the first time, they're on the road, albeit as big favorites. And we'll talk about that coming up next. Ryan Wood, thanks to Crosse Bierhaus, which is where we are broadcasting. They bring us Ryan Wood every week. I bet Ryan will be here. I'm going to dig into pig wings, maybe get myself a little beer. We will connect with Ryan Wood next.
This is the West Coast Sports Show with Brent Mills on the Wisconsin Sports Zone Radio Network. Madison's #1 sports talk station. 96.7 FM. No.
Thank you. After the fog ready for no stick or breakout. In fact, that's a really fun. And systems that are on time every time. So the work is handling in. Now that is time, money, and the long. Thank you. And Nancy, love, Blaney Top.
Take it from a woman. Trust the guys who know the dirt.
Blaney Thompson,
That's the dirt.
It might have been weather conditions or inattentive driving. When you're injured in an auto accident caused by another driver, you'll want answers and legal guidance from people who specialize in your situation. Legal Law will fight for your rightful compensation and peace of mind. The initial compensation is free and there are no attorney fees unless they win for you. If you've been injured in an auto accident caused by another driver, get Legal Law.
check us out at NicoletLaw.com or call us at 1-855-NICOLET. You need to win, get the beat.
But over time, very oil builds up, hard to get the maintenance performance drop. Interactive shiny, the skin is no different. Sun damage, redness, and texture are all signs of aging. The good news, we've got the tools to put it up quickly and good down. From laser treatments that broadband light metal degrades to keep your skin less tight. Schedule a free consultation to discover the treatments that best suit you. Because great skin isn't just luck, it's for learning more, visit Rejuvenation Clinic, South Korea.
You may know Rural Mutual Insurance as the #1 farm insurer. They offer competitive home, auto, business, and life insurance to make it convenient to bundle your while saving you time and money. Visit ruralmutual.com to learn more. Make every day there's something special in this country. An artist make it to something
a rideshare driver, I love keeping my car smelling fresh and clean. So when I'm driving, I only trust Febreze car vent clips, featuring 3 distinct intensity settings. Because it's that little touch that sets me apart. I can turn the intensity down for subtle freshness, or I can turn it up for when I want light scent. So whether it's set to low, medium, or high, with Febreze car, I know my partner. Now I'm mixing. Which keeps my driver rating right where it belongs. Picking up, Oscar!
With the new IHOP value menu, $6 is all it takes to go to your happy place. With stacks of pancakes with bacon and eggs are just $6 every day. French toast, sausage, and eggs all for you get $6. And fluffy omelets come with a side pancake and only cost $6. Go to your happy place every day at IHOP. $7 in some locations. Available every day for limited time for participating restaurants in the U.S. Hours may vary, no substitution. Not valid with the discounts promoted. Prices may vary.
What is dedication?
The thing that drives me every day as a dad is Darion. We call him Day Day for short. Every day he's hungry for something, whether it's attention, affection, knowledge, and there's huge responsibility in making sure that when he's no longer under my wing, that he's a good person. I think the advice I would give is don't need to know all again. The crazy thing was believing that your dad knew everything. For the dad, you felt like he had to know everything, had to get everything right. It's okay to make mistakes. As long as it's coming from love, then, it kind of starts to work itself out. I want him to be able to sit back on it. So we work together, we do a good job.
That's dedication. Find out more at fatherhood.gov. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
Wisco Sports Show, welcome back. Broadcasting live tonight from, the normal time from 4 to 6. But if you're a WKTY listener, stop on down after work. Get a beer. I'm eating some, I've had bacon on a stick here before. Now no stick, they just drape it. Like it's a clothesline they bring to the table. They just hang these sticks down. I got some pig wings as well. At some point, I got to get a beer, but I can't. Like I don't think I would do this radio, so I got to be able to speak without hiccuping the whole time. So coming up at 5 o'clock, a real treat, a real pleasure. Brian Simpson is going to be here. Rock morning. You hear him in the Crosse and Eau Claire. We're just going to chop it up about Oktoberfest, and then I want his thoughts on the Packers, and I also want his thoughts. He's a Patriots fan, just a crabby human being, but a nice, a good. He's fine. He's a Patriots fan. They play Aaron Rodgers this weekend, and I'm actually very curious to hear what he has to say about that matchup as well. But right now, courtesy of Crosse Bierhaus, how well does that work out? RyanWood.PackersNews.com. The very latest on Tucker Kraft and what's going on up there in Green Bay as we get ready for the Browns on Sunday. So here's our conversation from earlier. Morning. So it sure seems like they got here. That's but that's here because we're playing this week. We're not hoping for it, but it's one thing. And let's not forget the last night coming up. So in that way, coach never really longer, but it's always better to have a good season. It might be better if it's a year this time. But let's look at why this did get everyone a 3 point back because he has been so dominant in the first week.
they are not going to kill it on this case. But let's crack with that. With Jacobs up there, with Kenny up there, um, there's the leaders, there's leaders for it. So, and they're highly stuff. Take that. No one wants to get it. You can take big off and be okay. Well, but that's it. I think that is important for the CCS stuff. They can take breath, healthy food. Thanks for watching. We'll be coming back in a couple of weeks. Starting practice window on IR. CCS stuff. Chris Watts, the other field breath, healthy breath. But in terms of things to do, there's always that. I just put up crap. So I think this is their number one receiver. I thought that going back to the back. He is the most dynamic playmaker in football. And he finally showed that in terms of the fantasy, right? That,
Oh, yeah.
but that's not his. He's been that guy for a while. Actually, throughout the entire offseason, to figure out a way to unlock the big type. And I think it's the first show. So it would have been the worst time to come to full. Something like that. So let's continue. All right, enough. I felt like I had that question. Yeah, struck in my house. Still out and stuff. But I don't. Enough of that. I was struck by Jeff Apple's comments about India. And I think if Xavier was beside the tackling front and watching him progress as I picked, we talked about it. Look at how much better he is. Look at the way he's throwing. That's Xavier. You don't see that way, but everything I see is athlete. This guy's better. Obsessing over to add to the game. Talk about what they finish. Like an accurate. Yeah, for anyone else, make sure you talk that that's happening. That's when you know it's for real. It's lasting. And it's worth the struggle, right? Because look, Jeff Haskins is doing every effort possible to make it clear that just because they doesn't have to intercept or any interception purposes does not mean that taking any kind of business that yeah, that's the and I this is really about I just have to say pass rush stuff that there's all they don't have time to first the defense. Like it's like three steps that you're dropping and seven. And oh my god, my first here. Like they don't have time to talk in the middle, which is where they love not stop that's work but we find that's skill. So if you guys work, I ask you what how you keep this guy. Oh, yes, that's late last Wednesday night. So the night before playing Washington. The coach don't sleep about it. There's so much to do. And he just kind of late Wednesday night. And talk, oh, what about this? Oh, what if those what do you do here? All of these things like, hey, I know this is short. No, we've all got you know, all like, hey, let's short down. We fought, talk about something. They go, this is what, yeah, actually, want. They're like, oh, yeah, no problem. I got the third time. The answer is putting it details what's what. All of that. They went that way. They long. It was put in a big play. Turned out to be not. And that's, I think, that happens at the point, which is if maybe it's just this bad for the field, that means that nobody's getting big plays all the time. They're going to find football. They would not do it. This happens now that he didn't do that thing in the national football. Period. And it does not have to get this stuff. Not the thing that does Ryan this year tackles me. Got the episode 392. I said Jordan on the feet. I love not as much as I love but I love yeah, we got a podcast yesterday. We did, and what that
name is Ted Young, still left. And he is always very level-headed, very, very straightforward. He said, well, Bill, I don't want to get ahead of myself. Stay healthy. They get pretty good. And in TV, that's like, oh my God, incredible. But you know what I mean? It's so level-headed on that podcast, 219, like the stuff, practice USA Today. I feel like that's Golden got a ton of ice training camp. He's ready. He's the part. And then the game started. And you're, oh, yeah, look, we have that for the moment. Remember, MVP. Now it's out. What you practice in what's that part of what not like and I think the call in no way that is he has most prolific receivers for looking at that's for sure stuff. Like this is a very fine play the whole call down. But they have that and the stuff to the side of that goal is something that they can then keep going. And if they bring no longer on the field for that, that's a lot more fun for Matt Cole. How do you develop a young team? Matt Cole and put them in the clip. And that's what this represents now, Matt Cole. I think that it's all, it's for if this is not, if you throw the ball down, it's not just as you're on that down, something. Script. It takes more time to dial in that. It should not be a lot. That you didn't hit play for the first 2 years. They have drafted people to get that right. They did. See the team there. This is that young receiver, quarterback is working with the same time. Both parties are going to get on the same page. I take some time and I'm really long. You've seen the far so in a lot of Texas fans because all the shows I'm worried about that game. The first 2 games so good, and Cleveland, they're left team good beat. I'm not worried about the Texas fans last night. Tell me like this right. This Texas this moment feels like having too much fun. Eating good, rushing the pass. Doing things they weren't able to do last year. I just don't see it again. I'm on fun. Let's go on. This team seems like they're having too much fun beating stuff to take any of it. I think it's fun. They go better than that. Kind of like the type of move there. Yeah, I think you're right. It's also that they're still not. Like they understand how to do this, and I think it's good that they're not with their lives, and they know how they are. But that is actually the percent. Yeah, they know how good it is. We also know that it's not really do that good. Like you have to put it with it, not just on the and you have to be both. You build the activity, the ability to look at people mentally, instead of the big picture, how you try to see the big picture. Those are things that really matter. This will be a very matchup this week, just because it's not supposed to be. It becomes interesting. I might love to do Grant. Like if this comes for the game, if it does go down a lot, but does that change how you feel about the team that you play versus how the game plays? But you know, like this is like earlier, Cleveland very well show up in the playoffs and get us on. And I know we're in fans that like that, but I think there's so much when they don't bring the best of it. The best the worst football is they show up. I believe that against those dynamics. So we will play good on Sunday, and all of the best players they can play shots at all. I don't think it was left in my opinion. What would a close game of foot battle for the Browns? What would that do? It would depend on how if it was the one drop, they
They all just like they're all friends in consistent ways. So if it went like that, okay. If it, I can't fathom this happening because I have no idea. Bottom line, I have no idea how the world is around. Right? Yeah. I don't know how that is possible. With the macro of this phone, very going to a 40-year-old just last who also has the first that one pure girl ball on the Super Bowl. He got that this ball was not that might be true. Some of the sports here, they can't move. Yeah, but that man with Michael Parker not here on this line. That's how it's going to affect this guy. So I get that. It's a Packers goal and get like it's not even the well, it's Brown, but really how it's not sloppy. Then they that like that's true. But I still think they're really, really good. I think the Packers what happened. I mean, it cuts so time. Well, and we can wrap up the thing we're talking. If the Packers show up, he's watching it and they have to make to me, Ryan. Yeah, I'd like to talk to the Packers that before he's got that roster. Part of me, why I'm so excited about the Packers game, is because they're going up, right? They figured out some of those two steps, mental mistakes, that there that I think were made not just those who are ready. You know, take my Carson out of it. How much of this story so far? He just got a little bit older and more mature. They became more professional. Still have the game for the title. They're ready to roll. That was something we did last year. Rouse side that and what's fun is the guys out there. Right? Right. But your point, because that's what like you got younger, one but the time with locker room got older because of the younger locker room and the locker room that's not a good here. And I thought coming into the season, this team still has to do with important done. However, they also have some and sometimes youth does not understand that. When you can use any experience, that's the I also think I'll leave you with this. One the best thing that how that the NFL is not and for so long we know the Packers is a monster. But this is not it's happening. The leadership structure. You have guys on both sides of the ball that have developed a reputation in this group before they ever get it. And we're not that knew what it was to make the transition from one to the other. And then this is a very different box than what we do for years. You have that on the and they bring in Mike Park. And you know what to expect. It's, look, no matter who you are, and just not on the field. When you are playing a league for the season, that is extremely difficult to do. And why is it on the side? I can't help but think the part why this is that is because that becomes more practice. It's a lot really that acclimate with people after already having reputation elsewhere. And know how to know them. I think that's an important piece of this microphone experience. Well, and Jacob is also not finding material players product. The reputation of being like hard work, leaders, winners, all that stuff. Absolutely. That's a big part of the game. So enjoy the time of season with game. Guys, take care.
This is the West Coast Sports Show with Brent Bills on the Wisconsin Sports Zone Radio Network. 96.7 FM, 1670 AM. The Zone.
When people think sleep apnea, they think sleep. Now at Advent, we do all we can do to help sleep apnea sufferers avoid this damage. And most sleep apnea sufferers who come to Advent are going to be able to avoid a sleep apnea altogether. Our unique Advent approach using simple in-office solutions can get your nose working and throat open all in one week. You see, the root of every snoring and obstructive sleep apnea problem lies within throat, nose, and throat. At Advent, we know when we get the nose and throat working properly, most snoring and sleep apnea problems will subside. And we have the most simple and convenient, ultra-effective in-office solutions that can do just that. And this is why people have traveled by planes, trains, and automobiles from corners of the world we never think of to find a sleep apnea snoring and find us.
Go to AdventKnows.com to schedule your appointment because Advent knows well just that. Most insurance accepts.
If your roof is louder than your music, call the guys in charge with a critical and careful examination of its structure. This provides deeper inspection using well-trained eyes and skills, ensuring your left is a long-lasting, durable roof. Avondale Region, local people with accountability union for a roof settlement to say, now that's what I call a rock solid and roof free. AvondaleRoofing.com.
You're still glowing, flirting, grooving. You still got it. Your immune system weakens as you age, making it harder to fight flu, pneumococcal pneumonia, RSV, and COVID-19. Vaccines are a key part of any health routine and help strengthen your immune response. Ask your doctor or pharmacist which vaccines you need. Schedule in minutes at vaxassist.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
Could this vintage store be any cuter, right? And the best part, except Discover. It's not Discover in a little place like this. I don't think so, Jennifer. Oh, yeah. Discover's accepted where I like to shop. Come on, baby, get with the time. Right. So we shouldn't get a pair of shoes then? Give him a comeback.
Let's go. Sports show.
Okay.
Discover is accepted at 99% of places to take credit cards nationwide, based on the February 2025 Nielsen report.
Oh, this guy thinks so on the Infinity Sports Network. What do you guys say in this now this brief with Jonathan Gannon about your expectation training front?
I think we're a tough team. Now we're in year 3 of Jonathan Gannon. Him as the head coach, the system, the culture, everything that he's brought in. And I think it's go time now. Kyler's healthy. Everybody's healthy. We're coming in this year strong, ready to go. And I fully expect us to make the playoffs and be able to make the run up in the postseason.
1670 AM.
All right, we got to be quick here. Wrapping up the hour, we'll get to an update from Zach Heilprin. Thanks to Ryan Wood. I might play more from that interview. We didn't even get it all in. We'll circle back to that in the second hour of the show. Now, even when we're not broadcasting at Crosse Bierhaus, which tonight we are, the Crosse Bierhaus brings us Ryan Wood once a week, so we'll dip back into that a little bit in hour number 2. Stop on down. We'll be here until 6. Get some pig wigs, some bacon. I had a little bit of both, a mug of beer. I think I'm going to go get a beer. And when we come back on the other side, Brian Simpson, Rock Morning, 92.9 The X, 95.7 The Rock. We'll chop it up with Brian coming up next.
We've got Wisconsin sports covered. W244DR Pittsburgh.
Tucker Craft's availability for Sunday's game at Cleveland is up in the air. That's after the tight end went down in practice yesterday with a knee injury. Was not expected to practice today, according to Coach Matt LaFleur.
So it's unfortunate. It is what it is. I don't think it'll be long term. So that's a positive, but he will not be out there.
Whether he plays or not on Sunday, something that will play out here over the next couple of days.
I think we'll get, and just like we do with all these guys, we'll give them up to game time. So he's got to, more than anything, he's got to feel confident and be clear at the same time.
Kraft is officially listed as questionable for the game. If he can't go, could be more time for the likes of Luke Musgrave, Ben Sims, and John Fitzpatrick. Meanwhile, offensive lineman Zach Tom is also listed as questionable. He missed last week's game. Aaron Banks, off the injury report, will play after missing the Washington game. Again, it'll be the Packers and Browns. Green Bay looking to get 3-0 for the first time since 2020. It is at noon. turning to Wisconsin. They're going to be opening up the Big Ten season tomorrow to take on Maryland. Wisconsin, a 9.5-point favorite. Kick is at 11.
You may know Rural Mutual Insurance as the #1 farm insurer. You know they also offer competitive home, auto, business, and life insurance to make it convenient to bundle your insurance while saving you time and money. Visit ruralmutual.com to learn more.
Well, the Brewers' magic number to clinch the NL Central stands at 4 as they get ready to open a series tonight in St. Louis against the Cardinals. Any combination of Milwaukee lowers that magic number. First pitch tonight is slated for 7:15. With this Wisconsin Sports Zone Network update, I'm Zach Kyle.
Hour number 2. Welcome back. It's the Wisco Sports Show. We're broadcasting live here at Crosse Bierhaus. Our friends at the corner of 3rd and Pearl. A little bit of an Oktoberfest warm-up, primer, a pregame. We'll be back in full force. Ebo and Bill will be joining us here next week. But it's nice to see the ball go through the hoop. Just make a couple of shots, get into playing shape before next weekend. So stop down, get an authentic German beer, a big mug, a big Stein. And you can also get, I'll turn on the camera here, Brian Simpson. Rock Mornings joining us now, and I'll turn your mic on too, Brian. What are you drinking there? What are you sipping on?
Probably the Hackershore Fest.
Probably ordered it.
I don't remember, dude. It's a big giant Stein, and I'm about a third of the way done. E-I-E-I-E-I-O. That was a weak response, very weak response. Only my wife, of course. If you're talking about pre-gaming it for Oktoberfest next weekend.
Can you sing Ein Prosit? Do you know all the words?
I can, but I don't want to.
I won't make you do it right now. I was just curious.
I will say that's not the first time I've had a weak response to an E-I-E-I-E-I-O.
Okay.
We went to an Oktoberfest in Iowa a couple of years ago with some friends of ours. I think it was in Des Moines. And, we have several friends that live down there, and they were like, come down. They do Oktoberfest and the breweries and the bars, and it'll be great. And of course, Oktoberfest in La Crosse is a big deal.
It is a very big deal.
One of the best in the country.
This is kind of our thing.
And so we go down there, and we're seasoned professionals. And the first brewery that we went into, the news station in town, the TV news station, was out front recording video, and we're in our journals and lederhosen, fully dressed up.
You're the people they should be getting video of.
Which they were, and then they interviewed me, and of course I'm several beers in.
But I'm sure you did a good job.
Oh, I did a great job. Of course, I always do.
You're media trained.
And then we go into the bar or the brewery, and as soon as I get in, I see the people. They got a little beer garden in the back, and I'm watching. And I did the E-I-E-I-O thing, and not a single person in the bar responded, right? And so I'm looking at my friends, and I did it again, and I'm like even louder than before. And
that was the thought, is they didn't hear me. I'll do it again. Okay.
Well, they all looked at me like, what's going on? Is this guy gonna tear up the place, or what's happening? Well, then all of a sudden the bouncer goes, "Can you just give me your ID, dude?" And I was like, "You people obviously don't understand Oktoberfest. You need to up your game." So the nice thing though was they had a really nice beer garden. We had some really good beers, and the guy who owns the brewery came up to me and was like, "Hey, dude, we're doing the Stein hoisting thing, and you obviously know more about Oktoberfest than we do. Would you kind of help me out?" And I was like, "Yeah, sure, I'll help you out, whatever." So
you were on the clock, basically.
Yeah, it was and he didn't buy me any beers. Son of a bitch.
You didn't get anything?
No, I don't think we got anything out of that.
What? I'll ask you a real genuine question here. What is your favorite part of, as we get ready and
tapping in the golden keg?
Okay, and explain why.
It's rest in peace, Carl Friedline. That always is the true, at least in this day and age, the way that Fest is now, and that's not disregarding anything. That's not trying to
say that my generation doesn't do a good enough job.
No. It's just in regards to what Fest is supposed to be. Do you know the history of Oktoberfest? Do you understand where it comes from and why it's important?
I've been told it comes from Germany.
Well, the original, obviously, but I'm talking about in La Crosse.
I don't.
In particular. So the brewery, many, many years ago, the G. Heilemann Brewery, obviously, the city brewery,
right down there, yeah.
Employed many, many people in this town. It was one of the few businesses that employed the most amount of people.
Okay.
So in order for the city to celebrate its ability to stay alive, right? Because back in the day, it was logging and the hookers downtown. You ask anybody about these bars downtown, they'll tell you about the cat calls and the improper houses. What do they call them? The house is a house of ill repute.
Yes, thank
Thank you to my wife. But then you fast forward and you get into the early 1900s, and you start talking about the brewery, and you start talking about brewing beer, and how many jobs were created, and how many people were able to sustain life in this town, this community because of that.
Mhm.
Well, they wanted to celebrate that, and they wanted to say thank you to the brewery, and so they started holding this Oktoberfest, and it was a lot of like people saying thank you to the brewery for being able to provide us with homes and jobs and a way to raise our kids. And for many, many years, it continued to be that. And it had this great tradition. They did this opening day parade, which was all about the pomp and circumstance of bringing that ceremonial keg
Mhm.
from the brewery down to the fest grounds. That came to an end unceremoniously, and we were very against that. And we did our best to shine a light on that. It didn't really work out for us, but fast forward all these years, and now the best part in terms of the heritage and the meaning and the spirit of Oktoberfest for me is truly the tapping of the golden keg, because for many years, obviously, we had Carl Friedlein singing the German national anthem. We had our friends from Canada who would come down. They still come down, obviously. But you'd have all these other, the Fest family and the introductions. And then we would tap that keg, and you would symbolize like what Fest is about. It's that relationship of beer and the brewery to the community and how it impacted people's and their families' lives. So after that, it's all wonderful. There's nothing wrong with it. I have no issues with Oktoberfest, but in terms of the best part of it for me personally, the tapping of the golden keg is by far the best. Do you have a favorite?
Well, I'm not going to be able to, whatever it is, I'm not going to be able to articulate it.
You
quite
don't
like
have
that.
to.
I like the parade on Saturday. But here's the thing. I don't think I've ever attended the tapping of the golden keg because we're always doing a show.
Well, you like to make excuses for reasons you can't attend things.
It's not true.
Yes, every Tuesday when we talk to you on our show, I ask you about going to the Brewers home opener or the Bob Uecker celebration of life.
I did not
or
go.
Or all these other Packer training camp. All these other things that are very important for a guy who talks sports for a living.
I don't know.
And you're like, well, I got to give it back to my listeners. And I got to be on the radio.
I've never said that once in my life. That's never a thing that's come out of my mouth. It's true. Spiritually, like I do.
Do I have to do the fake mustache? Like, well, I gotta.
That's just unnecessary. It's not necessary at all. I think the parade on Saturday. I remember. I think it was 2 or 3 years ago. I don't know. Like our radio station's right down on 2nd Street where it goes by.
Right now, I really like the parade now because I don't have to be in it. For many, many years, I had to be on a float, and you have to build the float
for 95.7
or the other stations I was a part of. So yeah, it was. And look, it had its moment. It was fun for what it was, and we enjoyed it. But I'm glad I don't have to do that anymore. And being able to sit in front of the radio station and use regular bathrooms like a grown human being is, like instead of some porta potty, like some sort of caveman, is a key for me. And I love that.
You like the creature comforts. You always have. I just like the parade, especially when it's a beautiful Saturday afternoon and people, not me, maybe this is why I like it so much, coworkers older than me, coworkers with more money than me, perhaps.
We all
bring the coolers. Well, it's not wrong, but you didn't.
The nice thing about next Saturday with the parade is the Badgers will be off their bye week next week after the Terrapins.
Thank God.
Right. So
have you been watching them at all?
A little bit.
You're not a BC guy, are you? So
I don't. Look,
Simpson's a New Englander. He's a Boston sports fan, but are you?
College football does not exist in New England. It might as well be the WNBA. It literally does not exist. It's a thing. It's there, and if you go to the schools, you care. But outside of that, like regular people do not care about BC, BU, other than maybe the Bean Pot and only in the finals. But college sports are almost irrelevant unless you're in Connecticut because you have nothing but UConn.
Sure.
I mean, Connecticut
stores, right?
Well,
that's the name of the town.
Yeah. Connecticut is the only reason to stop in Connecticut is to go to the bathroom and get gas between Boston and New York. So they have nothing there except for UConn basketball. So we barely consider them part of New England. But our hearts and our lives live and die by the Red Sox and the Patriots and the Bruins and the Celtics.
Okay.
Always have. And college sports, much like the WNBA, are second-class citizens in New England.
That's fair. Well, I actually wanted to ask you about your Patriots because they play our old friend Aaron Rodgers this weekend.
Oh man, I hope they knock his ass out. I'd love to see him. I'd love to see him do the, not a serious grave injury like end of life type stuff, but like I'd love to see him, go down and not get back up. I'm tired of him. I've had it. I'm sick of it.
So if you were tired of him, and if you don't like him, well, I was going to ask. I mean, you've been on the radio in Wisconsin for how long?
22
Yeah.
years.
So you've been for the span of Aaron Rodgers'
Oh,
career
I
as a
had Brett
Packer.
Favre and Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you've experienced it. Was he someone at any point that you liked or enjoyed?
Look, there's no denying the guy's talented. He is one of the greatest throwers of the football of all time. He could drop it
Your
anywhere.
boy said, Brady said that.
Right. He could put it anywhere on the field. Where do you want it? And he'll put it there.
He used to be able to do that.
I think he still can. I do. I think he's. I mean, obviously not 80 yards down the field, but I think the desire to do it has left him, and the desire to be a good teammate.
You think he's out to lunch?
Oh, much like the Brett Favre Jet years and Viking years. I'm not coming to training camp. I'm just going to come in and sling it and do the thing I do, and and you earn that right after 20 years in the league. But then you compare it to a guy like Brady, and I'm sorry, but he's the standard, right? And he's the guy he's a maniac, right? And that's the guy you want. You want I want to win at any cost. I don't care what it takes. And if you're not up to my standards, get the hell out of here. But you got Rodgers and you got guys like him who are just like riding it out at the end of their career and trying to make a few extra bucks and don't care about the football as much as they care about the other stuff.
I think listening to Rodgers now, and I hope he succeeds on some level. I want him to have a season. Like I want Rodgers and the Steelers to be relevant in December. You know what I mean?
They've never had a losing season under Mike Tomlin, so there's a good chance that they're gonna win that division or at least be relevant, even with the Ravens and the Bengals without obviously Joe Burrow and the Browns. But there's a good chance they could maybe win that division and go to the playoffs as a wild card.
I don't know if Rodgers and the Steelers go 6-11 or whatever, miss the playoffs.
They're not going to go 6-11.
I am curious as to what that does for Rodgers' legacy. And you've experienced this with Belichick too, right? Belichick's a prickly personality, and if he had retired just after the Patriots, I think we'd view him a certain way.
Oh, certainly.
But he at no point has ever had success away from Brady. Rodgers, and we'll never know if he was drafted by another organization. If he sucks this year and they're able to. They're not able to do it in Pittsburgh. Like people are going to say, well, he never had success away from Green Bay.
Right.
And I don't know how to. I don't know how to balance that.
You would know this better than I would, obviously. But tell me about all the other pieces that were on that Packer team the year that they won the Super Bowl with Aaron Rodgers.
Well, the year they won the Super Bowl, I mean, just think Charles Woodson, Clay Matthews in his prime,
Jordy Nelson.
Yes, I'm thinking of older Donald Driver. Older guys who could kind of
doesn't matter older.
The emotional.
You're talking about all
leaders.
Time.
Yeah.
Like Packer greats though, right?
Yeah. Oh, unbelievable players. Yeah. Greg Jennings is so underrated. Greg Jennings was unbelievable.
Don't get me wrong. Aaron Rodgers played a big part in that, but
he was unbelievable in the playoffs.
He was also surrounded by great talent, right? So it wasn't just like him dragging this team to a Super Bowl win, right? It was about the team.
I don't think anybody does that though. Mahomes has maybe been the closest thing,
right?
But I don't know. Find me a Super Bowl winning quarterback that says, "Well, he did it alone. He didn't have any help." There were no other good players on his team. But I've resisted for a long time, and I had resisted when I was in college. Oh, Brady's so overrated. Rodgers. I mean, you stick Rodgers into that situation, he wins more.
They don't exist in the same timeline.
I've come full circle. I am more impressed now with what Tom Brady accomplished than I ever was when he was playing. Just because now I've seen I don't know that Robert Kraft is that. I don't think he has the Midas touch.
No,
I don't think Belichick.
Well, again, you look at where Brady was drafted. You look at his college career. They had no reason to believe this guy was going to be any good. He comes in there and he becomes this maniac, this thing. He's not even a human being. He's like a mutant. It's just so weird. I reap the benefits because I'm a Patriots fan, and so I stand on that mountain. But if you look at it from the outside as a person who admires football, and you put it in a different team, like if that happened on the Browns or it happened on the Jaguars or some team that's non-existent, that doesn't matter to the relative history of the NFL, you'd be like, oh my God, dude, this guy is he's a king amongst kings.
Yeah.
But because it's this premier, team in the league and all that stuff, and then there's obviously a ton of cheating stuff that happened. I'm not going to deny all that.
I'm not going to lie. I don't really.
But every team cheats. Look, every team does in one way or another.
Yeah.
The Patriots got caught for it a bunch of times, and they're guilty of it. But at the same time, it doesn't change the fact that Brady did what Brady does and made himself the greatest of all time.
Well, and like Brian Braun cheated, but he did it for the fans. He did it to stay healthy for the fans. You don't get to laugh at that. I that's what he did.
I know.
So I don't hold it
I
against
laugh
him.
at it because of the P thing. The P thing was very funny to me with the bike
Dude.
messenger, and it's like this poor dude's just like trying to ride his
Stop.
bicycle, and like he got thrown under the bus, much like the deflators and the whole Tom Brady
Yeah.
thing. Like, but those dudes are kings in New England. Like, they get to drink for free forever in a bar. Like, they get to walk in and be like, "Yeah, I'm so and so, the guy who deflated the balls for Tom Brady. Yo, let me get you a beer, bro. Thanks for
Sam
getting
Adams.
Tom Brady that second Super Bowl title. It's great."
That's pretty good. That's a pretty good accent. So the thing is, like with the Braun cheating, what I never understood about the people get so, well, sure, okay, everybody cheats, but he ruined that man's life. It's like the dude was a piss, respectfully, like
Right.
he was collecting
Well,
piss.
first of all, his career of choice was bike messenger, right? So you
Yeah.
got to really check your priorities there when you're riding around with a bicycle full of pee. And I'm sure Braun took care of him on the back end. Like those are all those quiet little things that no one ever talks about, and the guy will be fine. I'm sure he's delivering pee right now.
He ruined his life. Hopefully, he's going to collect piss to a ripe old age, and he's going to retire with a nice pension.
That
from his
never goes
piss
out of
job.
style. There's lots of people who need their piss collected.
That's
so.
true. This job will go out of style.
So let's
probably
talk.
next
Let's
year.
talk. Let's talk Packers.
Yeah,
I'd love
do
to
you
talk
think-
Packers.
Do you think Jordan Love? Can
You
win a
guys are
Super Bowl?
scary good.
You think so?
I mean, right now, look, I know it's only 3 weeks in, or the start of the third week. It obviously looks like a setup between the Eagles and the Packers in the NFC Championship game. I think
so.
Obviously, the Eagles look like, especially with the whole tush push thing, they're not going to outlaw it. It's going to continue to be a thing.
Nah, they will at some point.
Maybe next season, but they're not going to do it in season, right? We can agree on that.
Well, I don't think they can.
Right.
The Eagles don't.
Yeah, but they do that every year. They're like the Kansas City Chiefs, right? The
They didn't
Chiefs
do
are
it last year.
Yeah, but the Chiefs are 0-2, and everyone just sort of feels like, well, they'll figure it out, and then they'll win 12 games, and they'll end up in the playoffs, and they'll be the AFC competitor in the Super Bowl, right?
Maybe.
We all kind of assume that, right?
Yeah.
Same with the Eagles.
I
You're
have up
just-
until this point, but now I watch the Chiefs. I'm like, they don't have any good players. They have like 2 good players.
So let's just stay in the NFC. Let's
Okay.
assume
Okay,
that
okay.
it's. I think the Packers have to win home field. They have to have the first or second, whatever it takes to be above the Eagles in terms of hosting that game for the NFC Championship.
Sure.
Because you cannot go into the link and beat the Eagles there. I mean, those fans are nuts. They're crazy.
I think the Packers can go into dome stadiums and win. They might be a better dome team than an outdoor.
Well, yeah,
People-
fast.
People say about
No
Lambeau,
weather.
nobody comes into the frozen tundra and plays a pack. That hasn't been true since Mike Vick in the
Have
early
you
2000s.
been to Philly in February? It's cold
Yeah,
as well
so
and snowy.
So Philly, yeah, I wouldn't want to play in Philly. The Packers could win in SoFi. They've
yeah.
won in Dallas.
Oh,
Like
yeah.
that stuff. Now Tampa, you want to talk about teams around the NFC that
the Baker Mayfield thing, huh?
Before any games were played this year, my NFC Championship game prediction was Rams Buccaneers. I think Tampa's legit and really talented. If Matthew Stafford's back doesn't snap, like I think the Rams.
He's
I
not
like-
going to make it.
I like both
They
of those
were-
teams more than the Eagles.
They were shooting him up in the preseason. Like, they didn't even wait till the game started before they started shooting his backup. So
He had like a hyperbaric chamber on wheels.
all that stuff. He went the TO route, with the
yeah.
broken ankle.
That's
Remember
right.
that? He
Yes,
did that
yes.
6 weeks before the Super Bowl. He got that thing in his house, and he was back on the field. So kudos to him. But look, what is Stafford? 38, 39, 40? He's got 19 kids. I mean, come on, dude. I'm not serious.
He's got a bunch of kids, and
He's
his
got-
wife loves to talk about it.
And I'm telling you, he's not going to be the guy when it comes to the NFC Championship game. But I will give you the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Baker. I don't know what it is. He's got something.
Yeah, Stafford's 37. That makes it
37,
tough.
all right.
So you think the Packers could win a Super Bowl this year? You
Oh.
think Jordan Love's good enough?
Look,
And you think Matt LaFleur's a good enough coach?
injuries are the only thing that are going to stop that team.
Obviously, don't waste our time with that.
I legit think I think Micah Parsons is a man on a mission. I think he, obviously looks at this as a new start. I think LaFleur is coaching for his job, so he feels like this has got to be the year we do it because look, we've had all these, really nice years over the Lions are falling off.
If
the
not
Bears
now,
are not
when?
gonna be, right.
Type
TJ
of thing.
McCarthy's not. So we obviously have the NFC North. So let's focus on what's next, the NFC as a whole, and what's coming out of the NFC. Maybe Tampa Bay, maybe the Eagles, one of those two teams. So how do you match up against those teams? Can you stay healthy? And can you host at home? Because I think that makes a huge difference, especially if you're playing the Eagles. Because if you're playing Tampa Bay, fire the cannons, all that crap. All right, you probably got
I
them.
think they're fine.
But in Philly, whole different story. I don't think the Packers can go to Philly and beat the Eagles in Philadelphia.
Those animals. I feel like the Eagles will either disappoint and lose in the first round and be depressed and full of angst, or they're going back to the Super Bowl. You know what I mean? Like,
do you agree with me that Eagles fans are the worst, or Philly fans in general are the worst fans in the history of fandom?
I think all fandoms have
they
toxic
all
people.
Oh, they all do. Packer fans, Patriots fans, we all do.
There were Packers fans.
But come on now.
There were Packers fans that went to that playoff game last year with like a GoPro on their chest, and then they're
looking to incite.
They go stomping through a Eagles tailgate, and then they're like, "Oh, it's the worst. These people wouldn't leave me alone." It's like, I don't just be nice, be friendly. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm underestimating how it would be in Philly.
I would like to see you and your mustache at a Eagles tailgate party.
I think
see
I'd
how
be
you
okay.
survive. I don't think you'd survive,
I think I
especially
get
with that
along.
shirt. What's with this shirt?
What do you mean? What's with this shirt?
Let me show you around.
It's just a.
And it's like a raccoon's ass.
It's just. I think it's a frog.
That's a frog?
Yeah.
Oh, it's the front of a frog. Okay, I thought it looked like the back of a raccoon.
This could have waited until the commercial break, by the way. I'm going to go to break now. This is great. Thank you.
Yeah, good
I'm
to
a
see
little
you,
bit
Brian.
behind. Good to see you. Brian Simpson, Rock Mornings, 95.7 The Rock, 92X.
9290X.
92.9 The X.
You know, in the same building as your station, 105.1,
Sure.
the Sports Zone.
Sure.
In Eau Claire.
And you just got that wrong, and you have it written down. You read it the same way every week. I know.
105.1 in the Sports Zone. In Eau Claire?
105 Sports Talk 105.1.
I was close.
And I was close as well. That's the whole point. Thank you, Simpson.
This is the Wisco Sports Show with Grant Bills on the Wisconsin Sports Zone Radio Network. Madison's #1 sports talk station, 96.7 FM, 1670 AM, The Zone.
When your sewer line needs more than cleaning, fix it with trenchless, messless, Sewer Ninjas no-dig sewer repair. SewerNinjas.com.
You've seen him on the bag. Now follow him online. It's Lofi, Country Heart's mascot. And not only is he a cute little slice, he adds a bit of fun to Fridays. Follow Lofi on Facebook for Free Bread Fridays. Each week his posts may include a kid-friendly coloring page, a fun bit of trivia, or one of his famous dad jokes. Jokes may be stale, but his bread is always fresh. Just like his post each week for a chance to win a coupon for a free Country Heart product. Join the party with Country Heart and Lofi on Facebook.com/CountryHeartBreads. Because when the bread is free, the fun rises.
Save big on everything for your next project when you shop at Menards. Dutch Boys Durafighter is an interior paint and primer in one with a top lasting formula. It provides great scrub resistance and durability with remarkable height and a smooth finish. Save big on Dutch Boys Durafighter paint at Menards and start your next project today. Plus, check out our weekly flyer on Menards.com for more great deals happening this week.
Save big money at Menards.
Vikings, dedicated to creating travel experiences for the thinking person, with programs designed for cultural enrichment on board and on shore. Discover more at Viking.com. That's Viking.com.
Diabetes, high blood pressure, anxiety meds, everyone's on them. If you're a 50-year-old male, maybe a bit porky, and you may even have type 2 diabetes, $1 million of term insurance may only cost you about $200 a month. Call Term Provider. Speak with Big Lou at 800-859-3220. Big Lou will find a term life policy for you even if you have type 2 diabetes, are overweight, or have high blood pressure. Term Providers help thousands of people like you who think they can't afford term life insurance. To buy $1 million of affordable term life for you, all you need to do is call Big Lou at 800-859-3220. Lou will make sure the scales are tipped in your favor. Call 800-859-3220. Big Lou will answer your call and work to fit you into a term life policy that you can afford. Remember, Big Lou's like you. He's on meds too. Call 800-859-3220 or biglou.com.
Sunday is race day on 96.7 FM, 1670 AM, The Zone.
Gentlemen, start your engine.
Tune in all season long to get your fix of NASCAR Cup Series from Interstate Batteries Middleton, Interstate All Battery Center, outrageously dependable, and Gunderson Funeral Home. Visit GundersonFH.com. Over 100 years as your hometown life celebration center.
Welcome back, Wisco Sports Show. This will be a quick segment. We got to get to Ryan Wood on the other half of this break. So appreciative of Brian Simpson, always. Rock Mornings. It's always a pleasure to speak with him and Gene every Tuesday on their program. Very fun. 95.7 The Rock here in La Crosse, 92.9 The X up in Eau Claire. I want to make sure I get that exactly right, Brian. He'll get his knickers in a twist. Nice to talk about the history of Oktoberfest. You know, people think Brian is, this curmudgeon. He's got no love or no appreciation for anything. And I could understand why people think that, but the rich traditions, the tapestry that is La Crosse and our traditions, very important to Simpson. It was nice to get that breakdown. And I think maybe next week I will go to the tapping of the Golden Keg with him after we tap the Golden Can up at Flipside. Ebo will be there. I will be there. We'll give away some T-shirts. We'll sing Ein Pros. It'll be the whole thing. But until 6 tonight, another half hour, and throughout the weekend, I'd recommend that you stop down to La Crosse Bierhaus, corner of 3rd and Pearl. It's the perfect place to get the old arm warmed up out in the bullpen. Just get a couple of tosses in so you're ready for next weekend. You can enjoy the German music next weekend. They'll have music all weekend long and beer specials. But as we get ready over this weekend and maybe early next weekend, stop in for the most authentic selection of German beers, big pretzel, the pig wings, which are delicious. I had 5 or 6 of them. I gotta walk that off after the show. Some pig bacon, some candy as well. They brought it out on a big clothesline. I took a picture of it here. If you're watching on the live stream, I'll hold it up to the camera. They drape it on a clothesline and then they bring it out with some dips and just look at that. Oof, it's very delicious. So I recommend you stop in. And the Crosse Bierhaus brings us Ryan Wood every Friday as well. And you'll hear my conversation with Ryan coming up on the other side of this break. The text line I have been neglecting, but I will dip back and make sure I haven't missed anything. Teacher Tom, Mark, and La Crosse, I see you guys chiming in at 608-321-1670. Teacher Tom says, hey, don't forget, Dontavian Wicks hasn't dropped a pass or an onside kick. Yeah, how about Dontavian Wicks being the hands team guy? And I think in the past it had been Jaden Reed. I'm not really sure. I probably would have gone with Romeo Dobbs, but I really like Dontavian Wicks. I still hold a lot of Dontavian Wicks stock, maybe more stock than I hold in Jaden Reed. I just think Dontavian Wicks, like Tucker Kraft, relative to Luke Musgrave, is an example of, I don't know, sometimes it's not the best players that work or the most talented players that work in this offense. Fit's pretty important for an offense like Matt LaFleur's. And I think this has been shown in other similar offenses. You could probably look at McVay's offense and his roster and find similar things. Shanahan's pretty particular about his personnel and their skill sets too. Fit really matters. Like, you got to be able to block, and you got to be able to spring runs, and you got to be able to help that running scheme and that running game that has yet to take off this season. Like, you have to be a part of that and a participant in that down the field. And Luke Musgrave, on top of not being healthy and on top of not really being all that impactful when he's played, I just don't know that he's the best fit for this offense. So if Tucker Kraft's not going to play, he was listed as questionable today. Matt LaFleur said, well, he's got to feel comfortable and he's got to be medically cleared, whatever that means. I mean, he just could have been saying that. I suppose that's true of every player. But the fact that he said it today makes me think, oh, okay, so there's some medical hurdles, some more testing, some thresholds he has to cross. I don't know. But I think if it's the Luke Musgrave, John Fitzpatrick show, like, I think I might even believe more in the potential and the production of John Fitzpatrick in that role because he fits better. You know what I mean? I just don't know that Luke Musgrave fits all that well. But I am really, really hoping that starting on Sunday, that's not the case. Because, again, I don't think Tucker Kraft's going to play. And I would really like to see some fruit from Luke Musgrave now in his 3rd year of his career. And it's frustrating because, Packers fans, we get on the back of Christian Watson. Oh, he's never hurt, or he's never available, or he's not any good. Well, he's not hurt as much as you think. He's not hurt as much as Luke Musgrave. And when he's played, he's been awesome. And you can't necessarily say that of Luke Musgrave. So we'll take a break. We'll come back. Short segment here. Apologies. I want to get this full conversation and more with Ryan Wood, courtesy of La Crosse Bierhaus. He'll join us next. And in the final segment of the show, send me a text if you have anything to share, any final thoughts on Packers-Browns at 608-321-1670. Ryan Wood, Packers News, Green Bay Press Gazette, USA Today, all of those publications. He'll join us next.
This is the Wisco Sports Show with Grant Bills on the Wisconsin Sports Zone Radio Network.
The football has started, but training camp isn't over. It's training camp for the season that really matters. Oktoberfest season at the La Crosse Bierhaus. Prepare your appetizer game with pig wings or a 24-ounce pretzel to share with the squad. Main course grills include locally made brats and amazing batter-fried fish. Wrap up your training with the best selection of German beers in the area. Oktoberfest won't know what hit it when you complete your training camp at the La Crosse Bierhaus. corner of 3rd and Pearl, downtown La Crosse.
The Zone Blitz pregame bash is back. Every Wisconsin home game 2 hours before kickoff at the Blue Moon Bar and Grill. And this year, do I have something special for you? It's a perfect snack for game day or any day. Wenzel's Farm Pro Snack Sticks. Come see me and I'll hand you 16 grams of protein to fuel you through the day. Wenzel's Farm offers that and so much more, crafted in small batches using premium cuts of meat, perfectly seasoned, and naturally hardwood smoked. Check out wenzelsfarm.com. Made by pros for pros.
Madison's #1 sports talk station, 96.7 FM, 1670 AM, The Zone.
Your roof's got more leaks than your uncle's poker game. Your siding's hanging on like it's being held hostage. And your windows, they're screaming for attention. While some prefer DIY, destroy it yourself. You know your home deserves more than duct tape and hope. Roofing, siding, windows, gutters. If it goes on your house, Genesis Exteriors knows how to make it look amazing and last a long time. You can rely on our award-winning Energy Star windows, smart side siding, and brand-name roofing materials, all installed by our dedicated crew. That's how Genesis Exteriors wins A+ ratings and Super Service Awards year after year. So before you go through the drama of try and cry with a match and patch solution, contact Genesis Exteriors, because your home is due for a little love and renovation. Career craftsmen, better materials, stronger warranty, Genesis Exteriors.
With Nicolay Law, the cases are personal because they know it's personal to you. Homegrown Midwest legal professionals delivering on the promises they make with award-winning attorneys and staff, excited to represent injured folks and get you and your family the compensation plus peace of mind that you deserve. The initial consultation is free and there are no attorney fees unless they win for you. If you've been injured in an accident, get Nicolay Law.
Check us out at nicolaylaw.com or call us at 1-855-NICOLAY. You need to win, get the beard.
I got a list for you. It's all your competitors who don't have a website. Is it just you? An effective website will increase your brand awareness and credibility. You know that. So maybe the question is how? Who? Websticks. They create state-of-the-art websites with better performance and built-in strategies for success. Find out more at websticks.com. That's websticks with an X.com.
Rosen Ford Belleville has incredible deals on new vehicles. And Rosen Ford Belleville also has a huge inventory on the lot. Great deals to help you save a fistful of dollars. Get 0% financing, 0% down, and 0 payments for 90 days. And trade-ins have never been worth more. Hurry in. Shop rosenford.com.
Get lazy and go crazy with green and gold game day specials at the Lazy Oak Lounge. Half-price baskets, beer bucket, 5 domestics for $15 specials, and 6.75 pretzel baskets. Plus, go all in on the meat raffle, jersey drawings, and additional giveaways. Free green and gold cello shots with every green and gold touchdown, and wall-to-wall TVs so you won't miss a single play. Cheer on the pack and enjoy your mouth-watering specials as you get lazy and go crazy with another green and gold game day at the Lazy Oak Lounge, Stoughton Road. Find updates on their Facebook page.
It's Pro Savings Days at Lowe's. Get up to 35% off select major appliances and save an additional $1,000 when you buy 4 select LG major appliances. Plus, get a free DeWalt 20-volt Max 5 amp-hour battery when you buy a select DeWalt 20-volt Max tool. Get the job done for less at Lowe's. We help, you save. Valid through 9/26. Selection varies by location. While supplies last. See associate or Lowe's.com for more details and qualifying items.
This is the story of the one. As a maintenance supervisor at a manufacturing facility, he knows keeping the line up and running is a top priority. That's why he chooses Grainger. Because when a drive belt gets damaged, Grainger makes it easy to find the exact specs for the replacement product he needs. And next day delivery helps ensure he'll have everything in place and running like clockwork. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
What is dedication?
My daughter started making necklaces. She makes what we call affirmation fashion. I tell her every day that your black is beautiful. Your black is beautiful. And if there's anything better than being beautiful, it's being smart. If there's anything better than being smart, it's being kind. And reaffirming that every day is our method of making sure her chin never drops. My dad wasn't around. And I remember riding a bike and falling off and cutting myself. And me never would just want to get back on. People ask, how your children learn to ride a bike? And you did. I didn't teach them. I just created an environment where they taught themselves. And all I had to do was be there.
That's dedication. Visit fatherhood.gov to hear more. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
Excited with reporting. So let's start with the big story yesterday. I think we all had a little bit of a heart attack when we saw Tucker Kraft sustained a knee injury at practice. We've been told since then, feels like it's going to be okay, avoided the worst, scared. So what is the very latest? What have Packers fans need to know about the fight?
It sure seems like they dodged one here, and that's exactly what every Packers fan wants to hear.
Yes.
Because we'll see if he plays this week or not. The coaches certainly are going to